Yeah, no, so knew that turn up this morning, and generally that was the reason as to why we went. Just it felt right in my tummy that Joff was going to do something this morning to break the game open. Yeah, your gut feel doesn't always work, but those 2 wickets he got this morning, obviously swung the game massively in our favour.
Obviously you're knackered, but can you tell us how it feels to go deep 3 times in a row to the last session of a test match and be sitting here 2-1 up?
Don't know. Bowl 45 overs in a test match and win. It's probably the best comparison I could do. Yeah, pretty cooked. Obviously big day today, but I thought the game was on the line, and yeah, there's not many things that can't get you. Sorry, bowling to win the test match for your country on day 5. However you wake up in the morning, if that doesn't get you going or get you up for going out there and putting in for your team, then I don't know what will.
And can you tell us about the chat at tea? Obviously Bash had been off the field, he barely played a part in the game for a couple of days. He wasn't out there doing all those hard yards. What was the chat between you working out if he was ready to step into the game and win it?
Yeah, every time I look round at the bench and ask for a drink, I just seen Bash's little head peeking through there, like ready to go. We were obviously told by the match officials that he could stay off the field when he wasn't bowling, but if he was bowling, he had to stay out there. And look, we obviously threw a lot at their batting line-up today with seam. So yeah, just breaking that sort of flow of the game up with spin every now and again was obviously something I was going to go to. And yeah, starting off the session with Joff and spin was briefly spoken about. We all thought it was a good option. And yeah, it was great that Bash was able to get that last wicket with what he had to deal with this week.
Sky Sports, Vigil, go ahead. No problem.
What did you think of the tensions between the 2 teams? And did you think at any point that it crossed the line or not?
No, I think in big series like this, there's always going to be a time and a moment where the 2 teams were going to clash. But I'm all for it. I don't think it really stepped over the line. Look, I think at the end of it, if you think about it, there's 22 people out there playing for their country. It's the highest honour that you can do in in our given sport. So you can understand that sometimes the emotions and the tension can get quite high, but I don't think there's anyone in the Indian dressing room or anyone in the English dressing room that's going to bed, going to cry themselves to sleep over what was said or done out there. Where sometimes it gets a little bit over-egged, I think, from an outsider's point of view. I don't think it overstepped the line from the Indian team or from our team, but yeah, there was always going to be a moment in a series like this when it was going to implode. It wasn't really boiling up to it; it just sort of happened. But look, it adds to the spectacle of England v India, doesn't it?
We'll go Vish and then Stefan.
Hi Ben, you mentioned there about gut feel with Jofra this morning. Did you say anything to him before you went out there to almost remind him of stuff 6 years ago?
I just said to him this morning, I said, you know what today is, don't you? And there was that, that highlight package from, I think, when India knocked off like 300 odd back in the day when Ganguly, he thought that was a World Cup final as well. He thought that was 6 years today. Genuine. And I was like, no, that World Cup that we won. He was like, oh, that one. Gosh, he's an absolute beauty, that boy. But just had that feeling, and yeah, those 2 wickets today. That Rishabh Pant one was obviously massive in a low sort of 4th innings run chase.
Just off the back of it, you just called him a beauty there. It didn't look like you were very kind to him last night. Can I ask what that back and forth was? And it looked like he was going to try and apologise to you as you were walking off.
Which one?
Just yesterday when I think you kind of remonstrated when he was a square leg. I think he wanted a single instead of 2. And then, yeah, can I just ask about that? So
he wanted me to come to mid-on and Kasi to go to leg slip so he could talk to me. But I didn't trust Kasi at leg slip, to be honest. Yeah.
And was there any, did you talk to him about it stumps? Because obviously, like, I suppose he's not necessarily used to you captaining in this era because, you know, you like a fielder's up and it looks like he just wanted to cover at certain points. Yeah, have you been, like, bringing him up to speed?
No, honestly, that whole thing was he wanted me to come to mid-on so we could chat about what he's trying to do. Yeah.
It's quite sweet, that.
Yeah.
Stefan, Chris, yeah?
A couple of years ago, there was obviously the Ashes Test with the Johnny stumping. You guys seemed to feed off that when you got back into the series. The tension between the sides in this game, did it give you guys an extra edge? You seemed really up for it after what happened on Saturday night.
I don't think so. I think sometimes it just brings out, you know, another side of a team. Obviously, when you're watching your two opening batters go out there for an over and you're seeing 11 guys all come at your two-year opposition, I think that's going to bring out another side. And yeah, as I said before, like it just sort of brought out a bit of tension from both teams. I mean, it's great to watch. But yeah, when we came in last night after taking that last wicket, that long room was absolutely raucous. Generally think it was louder when we walked back in after that Ashes incident, but that was more cheers and excitement last night as opposed to the boos coming out when the Australia game was here.
And how bad is Bash? Are we likely to see him again in this series?
Yeah, it's not good news for Bash. Very disappointing for us as a team and for him. Yeah, big shame, but I think, you know, the courage that he showed to go out there and bat at the end for us, and willing to sit there on the bench waiting for his moment to come on and bowl. You know, I think just proves, I think, how much it means to everyone who gets the opportunity to put the shirt on that, you know, not even a couple of breaks is going to stop anyone getting out there.
Chris, Adam, and then two on this side here, please. Go ahead.
Ben, there's been quite a few special moments for this team over the past 3 years or so, but I just wondered, does this win rank as one of your most satisfying as captain?
I don't know. Like, I think for me, like, winning on day 5 by 22 runs like we did is probably one of the most subdued celebrations I've ever been on for an England win. Yeah, just didn't have a lot to give, to be honest, there with the celebrations. So it's a weird one. I mean, obviously it's a great game, it's a close game. You would think I should be saying yes, but it's just quite hard to quite get my head around it at the moment, if that makes sense. Just because I've obviously, you know, put a lot in over the last 2 days. So when you're physically and emotionally tired, it's hard to, I don't know, properly feel it. I reckon in 2 days' time I'll be pretty pumped. But yeah, just pretty knackered at the moment, to be honest. But obviously very happy that we've managed to get the win.
I heard you say on TV that you're probably going to spend the next 4 days in bed.
Yeah.
Just check in, like you're pretty confident you're going to be up at it and bang up for Manchester.
Oh yeah, I'll be absolutely sound for Manchester. It's a big break. Obviously was pretty tired after Headingley. But yeah, after we walked off the field there, sort of whole new level of tiredness hit. Look, and it's obviously different when you. I've been in games like that before, not as a captain. You know, where I've been given the ball to run in and try and bowl the team to victory. But then now, obviously, adding on to the decision making around bowling changes, field placings, how I feel we're going to get this win. You know, obviously there's the physical element of bowling in the 4th innings, but then it shouldn't be underestimated how the emotional and mental tiredness does also get you as well.
Adam, and then we'll finish with 2 here, and then we're done. Thank you.
Hi Ben, you've obviously shown massive belief in Bash, and he's had a tough series, a tough week. How nice was that just for his confidence, and assuming obviously we're not going to see him again for the rest of the series? Good way to finish.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's like confidence is anything to worry about with Bash. He's very confident with his inabilities. He's very confident, comfortable within this team. But look, I think what an amazing feeling for him to be able to take that wicket there. You know, and obviously with his hand in the state that it's in, amazing. Just yeah, very proud of the way that he went about the rest of the week after having to come off the field. You know, I think there would be a lot of people who might not necessarily have been brave enough to go out there and face, you know, Bumrah, and then also put himself up for, you know, wanting to get out there and bowl and help his team.
Last two here.
Ben, just want to ask that how much bowler Ben Stokes listened to Captain Ben Stokes when he was, you know, delivering the 7 overs in a trot, 8 overs in a trot. They kept showing us Brendan McCullum's face. He was just trying to send some messages to, you know, Tim Southee. So, you know, they were always showing this. So, is there a communication between the Captain Ben Stokes and bowler Ben Stokes when you were, you know, continuously coming up with spins after spin?
You're trying to say I've got a little man on my shoulder or something? No, I think, look, obviously yesterday, yeah, it came down just to, but there was more cricket to be played. Today there wasn't. Game was on the line, and that obviously is a completely different element and aspect to what it was last night. Obviously put a big shift in yesterday, and yeah, today was sort of, it was going to be my decision when I stopped bowling. As soon as I felt like I was not the person to break this game open or take the wicket, that's when I decided, right, enough's enough. Change the bowlers up, because look, although I felt threatening for most of the day, when batters are in, they feel more comfortable against whoever it is. So yeah, obviously changing who you bring on and giving a batter a sort of new, I don't know, new bowler to line up to think about facing. That was sort of the decision today. But yeah, I was yeah, trying to bowl and win a game for my team.
Last one, Mike, please.
Last 2 or 3 years, Ben, we've obviously celebrated a lot of blazing hitting, and quite rightly so, but in games like this, does it make you appreciate even more the measured approach of someone like Root, top scorer in both innings, faced most balls in both England innings, and he must have virtually honours board to himself in the dressing room now, hasn't he?
He should do, definitely. That's his 9th, is it, or 800? 8th? Yeah, he seems to be doing the first man to do this a lot for England at the moment. Just it's amazing to be in a dressing room with greatness. You know, we've known each other since we were like 12, 13 years old. So to be still playing for England together is pretty amazing. He's still the same old Joe Root that he was back in the day. And look, I think the way in which that this whole game played out, scoring freely was very, very tough. It wasn't a wicket that you felt like you could actually get huge value for your shots. So it was about, you know, biding your time and just, you know, taking almost your runs as they came, if that makes sense. And obviously, you know, Rooty's the best batter in the world in all conditions, in my opinion. You know, he read the situation very, very well, as did, I thought, Ollie Pope as well. It was very clear that it wasn't going to be one of those wickets where you could, you know, play those big drives on the up or get out of the ball because of how slow it was. And obviously when the ball went a little bit softer, it became even harder. But yeah, then when it came to batting in the 3rd innings, it was a completely different game with that new ball. Like, yeah, it was interesting test match to be a part of as a batter, with the amount of changes that the wicket sort of threw at you. But yeah, and even again, that 3rd innings, you know, we honestly felt that 190 runs was going to be very, very tough to chase down because of how that wicket had changed. The invariable bounce, some keeping low, some going through the top. So yeah, we were actually very confident that we had a good score, but we knew we'd have to bowl well.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.